Hey, it's Desiree Stafford. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here because today we're talking about how to trust the process if you're not getting the results that you want. So again, welcome. My name is Desiree Stafford. I am the creator of Radical Freedom and Effortless Client Flow. So if you're interested in any of those kind of things, I'll let you know how you can find out more about it later. So what I want to talk to you about right now is really understanding how you can trust the process, even if you're not getting the results that you want. So maybe you're making money in your business. Maybe you're seeing 4-figure months, but you can't get to the 5-figure months, right? You can't hit the 10K, you can't hit the 20K, and you see everyone else doing it and it's starting to frustrate you. Or maybe you have had 5-figure months, but you're not able to repeat it no matter what you do. So it's like you're constantly doing. You're making some money, you're making some progress, but you're not able to, generate the income, the exact amount of income that you want whenever you want it, right? And over time, that can slowly chip away at your belief, right? And so you can start to doubt the process. You can start to, question whether or not you're ever going to get what it is that you desire, whatever that goal is for you. And maybe you stop setting goals, or maybe you're constantly taking action, but you're taking action from a place of, this isn't really going to work. So obviously it won't work if you're coming from that place. So let's talk about, I'm going to actually share with you 5 ways that you can learn how to trust the process again if something has happened in your business that's made you doubt that you're going to get the results. Thanks for the love, by the way. All right, so I'm going to start off by telling you a really funny story about myself. It was Monday, so earlier this week, when I went to the grocery store preparing for this big, snowstorm that we had, and I wanted to get home. Like, that was just in the mindset of, I got to get home. And so I go to the grocery store, I get online, and there's somebody in front of me and they've got like all this stuff. Hey, Isabel, how are you? They've got all of this stuff and my impatience kicks in. Okay. And I'm like, I don't want to wait. So then I go to another line and they've got all this stuff, but it seems like the shorter line. So I'm going to wait here. And I was so pissed off because I jumped lines twice and I was the last person getting out of the store. The people who were in those other lines that I had originally been in, they got out of the store faster than I did. And I was so irritated. And I was like, you know what, Desiree, this is you're responsible for this because I allowed my eyes to deceive me. I allowed myself to get in line and think, oh, well, this isn't moving fast enough. Let me jump to another line and that'll move faster because I just have this one goal, this one mission of getting out of the store. And so, I sold myself short and I got stuck in lines that, took longer, even though they appeared to be shorter, took me longer to get out. And the reason I'm telling you that story is because we often have a way of allowing our eyes to deceive us, right? We start to look at what we see in our physical reality and we make a lot of assumptions based on what we see. And so when that happens, if we're not seeing the result happen fast enough, if we don't see, the calendar filling up with discovery sessions, if we don't, see a whole bunch of people signing up for whatever our promotions are, whatever we're doing in our market, if we don't see a ton of people on our list, we then start to doubt, am I going to achieve the goals? Am I going to get what it is that I desire? And you take yourself out of the game that way, right? When you start to allow that doubt to creep in because you're so focused on what you see in your reality, right? What you have to understand is that manifestation doesn't always happen instantly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it happens overnight. I have a rescue dog right here that, I was kind of thinking about whether or not I was going to adopt her, submitted my paperwork, and the next day they called me to go get her, right? That happened instantly, but not everything happens that quickly. And you're not always in control of that. Like there's some things that you can do to control, or to have some influence on how quickly you can manifest, like managing your energy and things like that, being really clear about what you desire. But not everything we can be very specific about in terms of timing that we're going to get when we snap our fingers, right? So you can't allow your eyes to deceive you and you can't allow what's going on around you to allow you to kind of slip into that place of doubt. You have to have more control of yourself and what you're thinking and feeling in those moments, right? Because the reality is faith and fear both require us to believe in something that we can't see. So you have a choice, right? You have a choice that, if you're not seeing what you desire to see in your immediate reality, you have the choice to choose to focus on fear or focus on faith. Many of us, and I will raise my hand and say I've been one of those people for a really long time, will choose to focus on fear, right? Because that's conditioned, right? It has become a habit over a long time. So you have to be very conscious in the moment of being aware of what you're thinking and feeling and be able to make the switch. All right. So that's the first thing, right? Don't allow your eyes to deceive you. Okay. The second thing is I want you to look for evidence in your life right now, even if it's not occurring right now, could have occurred in the past. Look for evidence of when things that you desired seem to just happen, right? So maybe you took some effort, maybe you took some action. Typically you're taking some action towards getting whatever it is that you desire. But when you were least thinking about it, it happened. I want you to remember those times when you're going into fear, when you're going into doubt, when you're starting to think, oh, is this even possible, right? I want you to think about those times when things did happen for you, okay? When you kind of just like eased off of it and you just allowed. Sometimes you're not even aware that you're allowing, but things just seem to happen, right? Remember those times when you're in that space of doubting. That's what I do a lot. Whenever, and it doesn't matter what level you're at in business, by the way, because fear and doubt can creep up at any stage, right? Because every time we're growing to the next level, it's something bigger that we're asking for. So we've got to open up, we've got to allow ourselves to receive that, right? So even for me, as I continue to grow, I have to do that with myself. I have to check in. I have to say, you know what, Desiree? So maybe you didn't hit the goal at this moment, or maybe you don't see the shift happening in your physical environment. And so what I do in those times is I remember, when was the time that I remember something happening for me when I was in, kind of in doubt, when I was kind of like in this place of worry, and I recall those situations, and then they help me to remain calm. Because they remind me of the fact that I'm always being supported, right? Whatever it is that you desire to be, do, or have, you're always being supported in that. But you've got to maintain your focus on what it is that you desire instead of allowing yourself to go into fear. So when that comes up for me, when it comes up for my clients, and I would also suggest that when it comes up for you, that you try to recall experiences, because we've all had experiences where we just knew, like, things just happened for us, right? Without a lot of effort, without a lot of trying to force it to happen. Recall those times, okay? Recall those times when maybe it even seemed hopeless to you, but you got whatever it was you desired. Because if you can get yourself into that place, you can remember that feeling, and you can bring that feeling back to the present moment and calm yourself, soothe yourself, relieve yourself, so you're not full of, stress, worry, and anxiety, okay? I guess I only have 4 tips. So I was going to say I had 5, but I only have 4. The fourth one is to focus on serving versus whatever your goal is, right? So obviously we have goals, we have intentions, we have ambitions, right? But if we focus too much on that, sometimes we can create resistance, unknowingly create resistance, right? So what I would suggest, most people who come to me, their goal is to, sell out their one-on-one coaching, or to sell out a group program, or to, hit 5 figures a month. Whatever that goal is, yes, you want to set the intention for that, but then when you're taking action on social media, when you're out there marketing your stuff, I would encourage you to focus on serving versus focusing on attaining the goal, because it shifts your energy. When you can get curious about how you can make a contribution and show up from a place of service, from a place of giving, you will always receive. You may not receive directly from the people that you've helped that particular day, right? You may not receive from them directly, but you're in the right energy that allows you to receive, that allows you to stay open to receiving. And there was a time when I didn't always do this, when I would be frustrated because I was like, I am not getting the clients. I am not making the money that I want. And what I was doing was focusing on lack. I was coming from that lack vibration. I don't have. Instead, I shifted into what I could give, how I could make a contribution, how I could be of service. It changed my whole vibe. And I, again, didn't always sign clients that I might have helped that day on social media, but I would always sign clients, or I would always make the money, right? So you're always going to be able to receive as long as you're open to receiving, but that means you also have to be willing to give, right? So give from a place of generosity, give from a place of abundance, instead of focusing so heavily or specifically on the specific goal that you want. Yes, set the intention, but let it go, okay? And that kind of leads us into my 4th tip, which is distract yourself. Okay? Distract yourself. The more we focus on what it is that we want, and well, let me rephrase. If you're really good on focusing on what you want versus the absence of it, then continue to focus on what you want. But most people are not that good at that, right? Most people think they're focusing on what they want, but they're actually focusing on the absence of it, or the lack of it, okay? And when you do that, what do you get? You create more of the absence of it, right? You create more of that feeling, more of that experience. And if you've ever noticed, you ever try to watch a pot boil? It never friggin' boils when you're watching it. It boils when you walk away, right? When you distract yourself, when you find something else to do, that friggin' thing is about to blow up your house because it's boiling like crazy, right? But if you were to stand there and watch it, it doesn't. So what I recommend that you do is stop like watching, stop, monitoring, stop hovering over the goal and trying to force and insist that it happen specifically when it comes to a certain time frame. Because we don't always have control. Like I said before, we don't always have control over the timing of things, right? So just distract yourself. Go out and make a contribution, market, share your message, help people in the marketplace, but then distract yourself. Detach from that outcome happening by a certain time. Okay? Because when you do that, you create resistance that actually keeps it away from you instead of allowing it to flow to you. All right? So those are some ways that you can actually keep your faith when you're not seeing the result that you desire. And it's really important that you do that, because you don't want to continue to, take all kinds of action and then not believe that you're going to get results, right? Because what does that do? It just continuously reinforces the fact that you don't have, and you don't want to do that, right? Because that's not going to keep you in the energy. It's not going to keep you in the vibration of being able to receive what it is that you desire, okay? So let me recap what I shared with you today. We're talking about how to trust the process, even if you're not seeing the results that you want, okay? So maybe you've gotten 4-figure months before and can't break out of that. Like you've set the goal for, let's say, 10K, 20K, 30K, whatever, and it's not happening, right? And so you're starting to lose, faith and trust that that's even possible for you. Maybe you've had 5-figure months, but you don't know how to recreate it whenever you want. And so maybe that, is chipping away at your sense of belief. Maybe you're struggling to attract clients. And so, no matter what you do, you're not seeing the clients. And so you're starting to believe, oh, well, nobody's going to buy from me. People don't like me. People don't resonate with me. My marketing sucks. Like whatever it is that you could be thinking, right? So how do you trust the process when all of those things can be chipping away at your belief, can be chipping away at your confidence, can be chipping away at your, you're really believing that your business is actually going to work the way that you want it to work. All right. So the first tip I shared with you is number 1, do not allow your eyes to deceive you. Don't be like me in the grocery store. Okay. Number 2, look for evidence that things are working out for you. Look for evidence of the past, of when things seem to happen without you having to try really hard. Okay. Because that can remind you of, and actually help you get back into the state of feeling trusting. Okay. The third thing that I shared with you was to focus on serving versus the actual goal. So you want to set the intention for your goal, whatever that goal may be, but then, focus on how can I make a contribution related to my purpose on any particular day. Come from that place, come from that energy, and you're much more open to receiving. And again, know that you're not always going to receive from the people that you give to, but you will receive. All right. And then the fourth thing that I shared with you is distract yourself. A watch pot never boils. So you want to distract yourself whenever you are, setting a goal and wanting to achieve an intention. Don't sit there and hover over it. Don't sit there and monitor it. Don't sit there and like, time is ticking and it's not happening yet, right? Because that can actually create the opposite of what you desire. Cool? All right. So I shared a lot of stuff with you today about how to trust the process. Now, if you are someone who is struggling to attract clients, so maybe you're doing a lot of stuff, you're, marketing consistently, but you're not seeing the clients come in the way that you'd like them to, and you want to find out for free how you can shift things and actually attract clients consistently to your business, then I would recommend that you sign up for my no-cost masterclass at DesireeStafford.com/masterclass, because in that training, I am going to teach you what I'm doing, what my clients are doing. It's very simple, but it allows you to attract clients consistently. You're going to understand why you may not be attracting clients consistently right now, where to find said clients, how to charge $3,000 to $10,000 for what you already know how to do and get it, all that kind of good stuff. And also overcoming objections. So if you're ever, worried about people are not going to want to pay you whatever your fees are, all that stuff is in that training. So if you're interested, go to DesireeStafford.com/masterclass. And until we speak again, oh, hey, Leslie, how are you? I was going to wrap up, but does anyone have any questions before we go? I'm having a hard time. I don't really see everyone who's on. I see some people joining and stuff like that, but I don't really see all who's on. So does anyone have any questions about what I shared before we wrap up today? And again, we're talking about how to trust the process, even if you're not seeing the results that you desire. Looks like a lot of you guys are just joining. I think my signal is also weak as well. Any questions, you guys, before we wrap up? Hey, Isabel, Leslie, Sawat, how are you guys? Okay. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, maybe you need to catch up, go back and watch the replay. If you do have questions at that point, hit me with them in the comment section. I will be sure to reply. And if you guys have anything else that you want to ask me related to this, again, hit me in the comment section. I'll be sure to reply. And until we speak again, I hope you guys are up to big, bold things in your life and in your business. Take care.